I was at a dinner in London. The dinner was to honor a very famous English military man of the time. I won't tell you his real name or titles. Let's just call him Lieutenant General Lord Arthur Scoresby. I was so excited to see this great man. There he was, sitting at the dinner, covered in medals. I couldn't stop looking at him. He looked so calm and confident. It seemed like he didn't care about being famous. Everyone admired him, but he didn't seem affected by all the attention. Next to me sat a clergyman, an old friend of mine. Before he became a clergyman, he was a teacher at a military school in Woolwich. He leaned close to me and whispered, "Between us, he's a complete fool." He was talking about Scoresby, the hero of our dinner. I was shocked. I couldn't believe what I had heard. It felt like he had said something unbelievable about someone like Napoleon or Socrates. But I knew two things about this man. He always told the truth, and he had a good eye for judging people. So, I wanted to know more about Scoresby. A few days later, I met the clergyman again, and he explained everything. These were his exact words. About 40 years ago, I was a teacher at the military school in Woolwich. That's when young Scoresby had his first exam. I felt so sorry for him. Most students gave smart answers during the exam, but Scoresby? Oh dear, he didn't know anything. He was a nice, kind young man, but his answers were so silly they almost made me laugh. I knew he would fail the next exam and get kicked out of school. So, I decided to help him. I thought it would be a small and harmless thing to do. I took him aside and asked what he knew. He only knew a little about Julius Caesar. That's it. So, I made him study a few questions about Caesar again and again. I made him practice like crazy so he wouldn't forget. On the day of the exam, something unbelievable happened. He got all the questions about Caesar, the exact ones I had taught him. He answered perfectly and got high praise. Other students who knew much more were criticized. It was pure luck. Things like that happen only once in 100 years. After that, I stayed by his side throughout his studies. I helped him as much as I could. He always made it through by some miracle. I thought mathematics would surely be his downfall. I made him study hard, but I was sure he would fail. On the exam day, I was ready for him to fail and leave the school. But guess what? He took first place. He even received the highest praise. I felt guilty. I knew it wasn't right to help him this much, but I just wanted to make his failure less painful, not lead to this. I thought his luck couldn't last forever. Surely, when he faced a real test in life, he would fail. Then, the Crimean War started. I felt so sad for him. In peacetime, no one would notice how foolish he was. But in a war, I was sure he'd be exposed. And then something terrible happened. He was made an officer, a captain no less. How could they give such a big job to someone like him? I thought, I'm responsible for this. I have to go with him and protect the country from his stupidity. So, I joined the war with him. And oh, the mistakes he made. Big, terrible mistakes. But somehow, no one realized he was making mistakes. They thought his foolish actions were smart and brave. They misunderstood everything he did. His smallest mistakes made me want to cry, scream, and shout. But each mistake brought him more fame and glory. People thought he was brilliant. I kept thinking, when they finally discover the truth, it'll be a disaster. He kept getting promoted because of his successes. Then, during one battle, our colonel was killed, and Scoresby took command. I thought, this is it, we're finished. The battle was intense. Our allies were losing everywhere. Our position was very important, and one mistake could mean total defeat. Then Scoresby gave an order. He confused his left hand with his right. Instead of retreating to help our right side, he moved forward to the left. Before anyone could stop him, we were already over the hill. And there, we found a huge Russian army waiting for us. I thought we were all going to die. But no. The Russians thought we must be the entire British army. They panicked, turned around, and ran. We chased them, and in no time, the battle turned into a great victory. Our commander was amazed. He called Scoresby over, hugged him, and praised him in front of everyone. Scoresby became a hero. That day, he was celebrated as one of the greatest military leaders in history. His name will be in history books forever. And yet, he's still the same nice, kind man who doesn't know much, not even enough to come in out of the rain. He's the most foolish man in the world. Until now, only Scoresby and I knew the truth. His whole life has been full of lucky accidents. Every mistake he made turned into a success. Every medal on his chest is proof of some silly mistake. His life shows that the best thing a man can have is luck. As I said at the dinner, Scoresby is a complete fool.